Hello, welcome students. You are watching your physics class on chapter light. So today our topic is pinhole camera. Okay. So if a question arises, what is pinhole camera? Then we can say that it is a very simple device which is used to take photograph of a still object. Still means which is at rest, not moving. Okay. So how will you construct a pinhole camera? So first of all, you have to need a cardboard box, maybe same as a shoe box. Okay, a pair of scissors, pin, tracing paper or wax paper, black chart paper and glue. So first of all, you have to paint the inside of the box with a black pen. Black pen. Cut out the two windows on the opposite side of the box. One is smaller than the other. Paste a square of tracing paper over the larger window and a circle of black chart paper over the small window. Make a small hole in the black chart paper using pin. Then the pinhole camera is now ready to use. So now the question arises, how the pinhole camera works? So you must be know that when the light enters the pinhole camera through the pinhole, then the image is formed on the screen. Screen means a tracing paper that you have to fix inside it. Okay. So image is formed on the screen opposite the pinhole and is inverted. I mean the image that's formed is real and inverted. Okay. So how is it formed? Let's see. So when the pinhole camera is pointed towards a tree or any object, then the light ray from the top of the tree travels in a straight line and pass through the pinhole camera and fall at the bottom of a screen. Say at P. Okay. So this is your P, and similarly, light ray from the base of the tree, say C, and fall at the top of the screen at R. This means that the image formed on the screen is inverted. I mean upside down. Okay. So in a more complex pinhole camera, the tracing paper is replaced by a photographic film or a plate. So what are the characteristics of the image that formed in a pinhole camera? So we can say that it is a real image, it is inverted, and it is laterally inverted. I mean laterally inverted means when you stand in front of a mirror, if you raise your left hand and but it look your right hand in the mirror. Okay, this means that laterally inversion. Clear? So next is what are the factors affecting the size of camera? So it depends on two factors. Number one is the distance of the object from the pinhole. If the object is closer to the pinhole camera, then the size of the image is larger. If the distance of the screen from the pinhole, I mean if the distance of the screen from the pinhole is larger, then the image formed by the pinhole camera will also be large. Okay. But if you make a several hole, then it forms a multiple image, then the screen then the image look blurred, and a hole larger than a pinhole, they have the same effect, the same effect as in the previous one, say blurred image. Okay. So activity is to observe the variation in image size in a pinhole camera. So material requirement: pinhole camera, lighted candle in a candle stand, ruler, pencil, notebook. So place the lighted candle facing towards the pinhole camera. Okay. So next, first of all, you have to measure the size of image found on the screen. So move the candle closer to and then further away from the pinhole. Then you have to record the size of image for each position. Okay. So then you have to see that when you record, then you will observe that the size of the image is small or large. In this way you can observe it. Okay. So next is the shadow, and you must be know that shadow is formed when light traveling through a traveling in a straight line and it obstructed by an opaque object. Then, a part of the screen does not receive any light from the source, and a dark patch is formed behind the object. And this dark patch formed is called what? Or shadow. So you must keep in mind that source of light must be compulsory, and second one is the opaque object. If there is a transparent object or maybe translucent, then you can't see the image, or then you can't see the shadow. Okay. So for the formation of shadow, opaque object is required. Okay. So an opaque object casts a dark shadow, whereas the translucent object casts a weak shadow, and the transparent object does not form any shadow. Okay. So what are the characteristics of the shadow that found by opaque object? Number one is it is very dark. It does not have any color or details of the object. It may or may not have the same shape as the object. The shape depending on the position of object and the source of light. The size of the shadow depends upon the size of object and the source of light. If the distance between the object and the source of light, then the object will what? The smaller. Okay. If the distance of source of object and the light, then the image will, the shadow will increase. So you have to know that during the morning, then your shadow is formed on the road is larger, but at noon the size of the shadow is smaller. Okay, this means that you means object and the source of light is the sun. So this means that in the morning time the distance between the sun and your body is larger, so therefore the formation of shadow will also be larger. But at noon it will reverse it. Okay. So now next is the Umbra and Penumbra. So you must keep in mind that a shadow has generally two regions. One is the central dark region where no light falls. Okay, it is called Umbra. And Penumbra means this is the region outside the Umbra where some light falls, not as dark as Umbra. Okay, so this is a dark portion means what? Completely dark is called Umbra, and where is the fade portion? I mean it is not as dark as the Umbra. So this portion is what? Penumbra. The formation of the Umbra and Penumbra depends on the size of the light source and the distance of the object from the screen. Okay. So next is shadow produced by a point light source. So point light source means it has no scale or size. It may be small as the light passing through a pinhole. An object in front of a point light source, it forms a shadow. That is, number one, it is very sharp and well defined. It is bigger than object and it is uniformly dark. Means here only umbra is formed. Okay. So when you close the object to the screen, then the size of the shadow is getting what? Smaller. Clear? But in case of the shadow produced by an extended object, so an extended source of light is a light source which has a certain extent or size. As for example, suppose the shadow produced by a light source has a blurred edges. As for example, suppose torch, candle and the sun. So when an object is placed in front of an extended source of light, then a part of shadow which is formed does not receive any light from any part of the extended source, so it remains dark and forms what? Umbra. But however, the region that surrounds the umbra receives some light from the light source, and that position is called what? Penumbra. Okay, so it is not a dark portion. Clear? So next is if the object is of the same size as the extended object, then the umbra will also be the same size. If the object is bigger than the extended light source, then the umbra form is bigger than the object. If the object is smaller than the extended light source, then the umbra form is very, very small. If the screen is moved further away from the umbra will smaller in size and finally it get vanish. Okay, and you know very well the shadow of the, can you see the shadow of an aeroplane while flying in the sky? No, because the source of light is, source of light, the sun is the source of light. It is the bigger than the object. Okay, so this means that the shadow of an aeroplane or a bird is formed in the air, and when it falls towards the earth's surface, then it gradually decreases in size and finally it appears. So therefore, the shadow of an aeroplane or a bird does not form on the earth's surface. Okay. So in this way, we have to keep in mind. And one more important is that the eclipse. So due to the rectilinear propagation of light, so it also forms what eclipse. Formation of shadow. So it is also a natural phenomena, the formation of eclipse. So this eclipse shall be discussed in the next class. So I hope you have to understand very clearly. So hope you have to read it properly at home. So we will meet you in the next class. Okay. Bye bye.